everybody, and welcome to the Mortgage Coach Tuesday interview. My name is Dave Savage, CEO of Mortgage Coach. I always love to do this Tuesday call. I love it for so many reasons. My goal is every single Tuesday to put on the best sales meeting in the mortgage industry. When I started this call back in 2008, coming out of the meltdown, there was not a lot of great sales meetings taking place. So it is my honor today to have Mr. Todd Duncan is today's guest. What's up, Todd?
Hey, buddy. Good to be with the Mortgage Coach community again. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, it's good to have you. Well, having you on this meeting ensures that this is the best sales meeting going on in the mortgage industry this week.
Man. Amen.
Yeah.
Right
so that's always my goal. Is like, every sales manager out there in the industry, you're my competition every Tuesday. I want to put on the best sales meeting, but I'm going to kill you all this week because we got Todd Duncan. So Todd, I don't think you need a whole lot of introduction. Everybody on this call knows who you are. Anybody who doesn't know who you are, I'm just going to say this to you. Think of just about every successful, call it the best loan officers in America that you've heard their name, my name, Tim Brahim. I can just go on. Any name of a top producer that they have been to one of this man's training programs, whether it was his master class, which we're going to learn about today, whether it's some of the boot camp programs that he does, whether it's sales mastery. You have been an icon in the world of personal development and personal optimization of the mortgage industry. So Todd, thanks for your role for me personally and for Mortgage Coach. So there's your intro for all the new people that are hearing you for the first time, which is probably like one person.
I appreciate that. The joy of my life is to wake up every day, Dave, and know that just one life has been impacted. And of course, it's tens of thousands. And I'm so humble and grateful that I've had a chance to spend the last, basically 25 years of my life pouring into this industry and showing them a methodology called High Trust. And I know we're going to unpack a lot of cool things today as we get into 2018. So super grateful for the chance to be with you.
You're right on. So a couple of things, folks. Todd Duncan is, he's part of the Mortgage Coach culture, and we're going to be doing more interviews together. So if you do have questions, whether it's for Todd today, put those in the GoToWebinar control panel. Also, I am going to be doing more interviews. We use Zoom, and Todd and I can just jump on a call and knock out a 5-minute, 10-minute video. So I'm going to start a conversation we've got a private group in Facebook called Mortgage Coach Productivity Mastermind. So, by the way, if you have not engaged and you're not in that group, you should just go to Facebook and check it out. But if you have a question for Todd at a different time, let us know and we'll try to bring it back to you. So it is the first full week. We had that first week in January where a lot of people were still on vacation. Everybody was getting the cobwebs out, but it's the first full week of January. And Todd, I always think it's a good idea if people can do a personal checkup, take inventory on where I'm strong, where I'm weak, and really get focused on how they're going to make 2018 a record-breaking year. So I know you've got some thoughts on that. I know you also have a couple slides. So I'm going to throw the screen to you. So why don't you walk us through some thoughts when it comes to doing a checkup?
Sure, Dave. So, I think that, at the end of the day, everybody needs to look at their business and actually their life. And you need to be constantly vigilant about just kind of evaluating where you are, and using that as a baseline for where you go. So our commitment as a learning company is to equip you with both the tools to decide, where am I? And like plugging your car into a automation diagnostic to tell the mechanic where the car needs help, or going to your physician to have a checkup, or to, have your dentist take new x-rays. It's always about where you are and where you want to go, and using that as a baseline. It seems logical and it seems accurate to use the start of a year when you complete 1 year to kind of do a reset, to kind of do a reframe. So Dave, I thought what we would do is just kind of play along with each other. I think there's 6 different areas that I think everybody in the Mortgage Coach community, anybody originating loans, needs to really look at in 2018. And we've done something very special. About 7 months ago, when we launched High Trust, which is the continuation in its new brand form of what the Duncan Group was, we decided that we wanted to get very analytical about where people are. And so we've created 6 different elements of diagnostic tools that kind of take snapshots for LOs, and we're going to share some of that data today. So I would say to everybody listening and watching, don't take a bunch of notes. We've made this PDF available to you. It's in the window pane in the control panel, and you guys can download that PDF. But Dave, I think let's just rock and roll, and I think you have 6 points that we're going to kind of talk about as we roll through this. So just take notes, guys, and let's roll hard.
Yeah, let's do it. So again, why don't you kind of go through what you think are the 6 points? Sure. I will add my color around them as we go.
Perfect. Okay. So the first thing is you've got to really take a look at the idea of tuning up your productivity. So the data pool from which we have this is thousands of loan officers in the last 6 months, and it's pretty substantial. 85% of LOs don't spend at least 80% of their day making money. 98% of LOs do not do a monthly time journal to discover where their time is actually going. 81% do not adjust their time block accordingly monthly, and 83% don't know how much money they're losing every single day by not delegating. So when we look at productivity, we have to look at a decision to decide, okay, where am I at on productivity, and where can I take this? Next week in Newport Beach, we are conducting our masterclass program. I know, Dave, you want to make sure the mortgage coach community is aware of that. Anybody that's in Southern California or Northern California, a state away from California that wants to pop in, there's, I think, 5 or 6 tickets left. But this is where I go for 2 days with our newest curriculum on high performance selling, high performance, business practices, so on and so forth. And we really unpack some of the potential opportunity that LOs have along productivity. And I'll show just 2 things right now that I think really set this up for, the LO to think about, and any leader, obviously, but to think about what productivity is going to look like for you in 2018. So here's another stat. 78% of LOs don't spend the majority of their time executing their plan. So 2 things that we decided to show today. So one is, how much time per day do you spend reading and replying to email? So these are real LOs as recently as 3 weeks ago that have responded to a diagnostic. And if you add up the 2 big pieces of this pie chart, 82% of LOs are spending somewhere between 1 and 4 hours a day reading and replying to email. Now, there's nothing fundamentally wrong with email, except the more of it you do, the more of it you get. And what high performers do, and it's a habit that has to be undone, but high performers get to that blue slice, that 0 to 1 hour. They're spending less than 60 minutes a day on email. It's only 9% of the population surveyed. The rest are being controlled by email. And it may just seem to be something you never really question. It may seem to be something that you're just routinely engaged in and doing without thought or concept around it. But at the end of the day, this is one of the most destructive elements of productivity for the LO. And so we talk about how do you block and tackle around email. And the motivation to do it, I think, has to be, if you want to run a high performance business practice in the mortgage space and you want to have the highest ROI for your time spent, you need to tame this. So look at what this looks like, Dave, at an hour a day. And so remember, the previous slide has 82% spending 1 to 4 hours a day. At just an hour a day, that's 260 hours per year. So if I can combine high trust methodology with total cost analysis, and I can do a consultation in 30 minutes or so, that's 520 buyer consultations for the year. At 50%, and the reason 50% is in green is because at Masterclass, that's what we're teaching. We're teaching how to take 50% of your conversations to applications. It's a big number. The industry is not close to that, but it's a big number for high performance thinkers. 260 applications at a 90% pull through to closing, which is 234 units and $3,000 a deal. Email $702,000 a year in lost revenue. And so when you think about building a mortgage practice, and you think about building wealth, and you think about doing it from an advice centric standpoint, you want to be in front of the people. You don't want to be emailing the people. You don't want to be caught up in the paperwork. It's dangerous. Here's another interesting part about productivity, Dave, is one of our first things to tune up. How much time per day do you spend handling and reacting to urgent matters? 49% of LOs say 1 to 2 hours a day is spent in reaction mode. Another 25% say 3 to 4 hours a day is spent in reaction mode. So we have roughly 74% of the LO community who is spending 1 to 4 hours a day reacting. Well, that is a surefire signal for high stress, high drama, probably high dysfunction, and it's not sustainable. And the scary thing is that every one of the things that we react to actually has a proactive solution. So check out the math on this. At 2 hours a day, okay, so let's go back again, that's 50% of the population, 2 hours a day. There's another 25% that are 3 to 4 hours a day. At 2 hours a day, that's 520 hours a year. At 30 minutes per consultation, this is scary, Dave, that's 1,040 buyer consultations, high trust TCA, boom. At a 50% conversion, that's 520 applications. This is a big number. I don't know how many of the hundreds of people that are online right now are even conceiving that by reacting every day, this is what's at stake. But if we take 520 applications at a 90% pull through, that's 469 deals. At $3,000 a deal, that's $1,404,000 in commissions that is being lost by the group right here, the 74% that are in the gold and the gray, and arguably the 25% that are less than an hour reacting. They still have an opportunity to grow that. So this to me is one of the areas that hurts the most. And of course, we can't build the business if we don't understand productivity. Second area that I think yeah, go ahead, Dave.
Sorry. So I want to make sure folks are really connecting the dot on this. So this is a 1 hour call. We're 12 minutes into it. And what Todd just shared is huge. So I want to make sure you're taking the time, whether it's during the call or after the call, to reflect. Where are you at? How much time are you spending on your inbox? What can you do to be more productive around that? I would also love some engagement in our GoToWebinar control panel. So, there's been a couple of questions that Todd has asked, some things that he wants you to reflect upon. How much time are you spending? How many hours? 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours? Please post in the GoToWebinar control panel where in the questions area. Let us know how much time you're spending, because I want to make sure you guys are taking this in. You're getting value from the call. Anyways, Todd, I'll start reading a few of these off, but so far it's way too many hours. So thank you for the honesty. And so far I haven't seen too many people that are in that magic zone of 1 to 2 hours. A lot of 3 hours, a lot of 3 to 4 hours. I got one. So far the winner on the call is at 90 minutes. So great job. 4 to 5 hours. So the people on the call are completely resonating. And now here we go. We got a 1 hour. We got to shoot me now. So guys, so part of this call is, you came into the new year, and I'm sure everybody on this call, you've already got some goals. You've already got some things to think about. But now you think of this. You got Todd Duncan, one of the top coaches, one of the top speaker leaders in the country, who's done a study among the people that he serves, and he's giving you benchmarks. So look at this as a benchmark. You want to be the best of the best. These are benchmarks that you need to shoot for. So Todd, I'll throw it back to you for the next productivity thought, and the community is loving it. And, we got some work to do in this area.
Well, and I want to just stress to everybody that this needs to be a breakthrough in your business and your life. And, if you think about reacting, you think about urgent, there's a gap there in some kind of systemic solution that's not there. And at the end of the day, when we get to the last point I want to talk about today, we're really pushing to have every borrower experience and have that matriculate back to the agent or builder or referral source that brings them in. Everything has to be like 5-star. The online pressure that is beckoning our industry right now, and how people are surveying and researching and deciding who to have conversation with. It's really important that we understand that if I'm reacting, I'm probably not executing my service proposition at the highest level possible. So that's part of why this is important. But I also want to have this be a breakthrough for you. I hung up about an hour and a half ago with one of my coaching clients that's in Elite, and his goal this year is $3.4 million in net commissions. And last year he made $2.3 million in net commissions, following exactly the model I just laid out for you guys as a community. And by the way, he's a mortgage coach advocate as well as a high trust advocate. Here's a second area. So tune up your business planning. And this is kind of startling. You know, I think business planning, it's out there. Everybody knows you've got to have a plan for your business. And so these first 3 stats don't seem to be super painful, but I pulled them out just to show you a progression of what ends up happening. So it looks like, you know, half or so, 51% of LOs don't have a business plan for the next 12 months, right? And so 1 out of 2, you know, have one, and 1 out of 2 don't, or so. Around 60%, 59%, excuse me, don't know their dollar origination goal for the year. So they don't even know what they need to originate to in fact make their funding goal come to fruition. And 56% don't know their application volume needed per day. And so these are some these are some metrics super important to get your head around, but it's the wheels start to come off right here at the bottom. 70% of LOs don't know the pre-qual referral / conversations they need to have daily to get the application volume for that day. So 7 out of 10 do not know how many conversations, high trust, total cost analysis, how many conversations they need to have a day to make the business plan work. And so the first thing I'm going to say is having a business plan matters little if there's not a plan to implement the optics of making the plan work. And so it's, you know, it's a business plan is as effective as the strategy that backs the plan to actually make sure that there's an intentional outcome each and every day on making the plan work. So now watch what happens. 83% don't know how many pre-application consultations they want per referral client per month. So productivity tune-up, business planning tune-up, you need to know, if you have 10 real estate agents, you need to know how many referrals you want per referral partner per month. Otherwise, the natural default is you'll get to having too many partners. 94%, this is where the money is made, guys. 94% have not gotten a commitment from that referral partner to getting the number. So let's stay on these top 2 numbers. If I know that I have 10 partners and I know that I want 2 referrals per partner per week per month, that's 8. Okay, so that's 8 per partner conversations with referrals that I'm going to have per month, or 80 for the month. Now, that's good for me to know that. But if I've not sat down with that partner and had a dialogue about how we're going to make that happen and gotten a commitment from them on that number, the chances are that I'm not going to get it. So almost, I mean, look at this, 94% don't have that commitment. Then 96% don't have a target marketing plan to get the right number of referral partners to make this work anyway. And so I get a little bit kind of excited about this, because at the end of the day, if you can sit down and have a strategic, engaged relationship, bring in the advice value adds, bring in high trust, bring in the borrower consultation, bring in a total cost analysis, bring all that in, you guys should be able to then have the right number of people that then you start to manage. And you manage that group of 8 or 10 or 12. And it's going to get very interesting when you start to look at what can happen to the business if you do that. And I'll give you some insights as we go forward. But here's the big one, Dave. We have a Todd Duncan TV episode on the art of the reset. And the power of this stat, 90% of LOs do not reset their plan monthly by the remaining months in the year to meet goal. So it's interesting, it's like once you're off and you're not measuring, you don't ever reset from where you are to where you want to be. 9 out of 10 are not doing a reset. In our high trust coaching platform, we do a reset. You can do a reset actually every single day. If you're short today, you can reset for tomorrow, and it's all organized around technology optics. And bottom line is, if you've got 10 more months in the year and you're 27% behind goal, you got to do a reset. Otherwise, the chances of your plan coming to fruition are not high. So these are fairly staggering around the area of business planning. And you stop and think about that, and there's a lot at stake, lots of money at stake right here.
So couple things. I mean, there's been a lot of takeaways, and because I'm present and I'm listening and I'm preparing to highlight some things, I'm not taking the copious notes I'd like to. So if anyone is taking really good notes and you want to share that in our private face group afterwards, I would love to get your takeaways. But so far, my takeaways, and I want to really make sure you heard these, first and foremost, get out of your inbox. Be clear on how much you're in your inbox. Be clear on action steps to be more strategic around email. Dollarize your conversion rate. Have you dollarized your conversion and what that means to you from a monthly and annual income perspective. And then, there was a number of things that you shared just now, Todd, but the one I hope everybody really connects with is, do you have a mutually aligned game plan with every one of your engaged realtor partners, CPAs, attorneys, anybody that you kind of put in your top 10% referral partners? Is there a mutual goal that they're buying in? Like, you're going to help them do X, whatever is important and whatever you've committed to. Maybe that's, I'm going to help you close more homes, and we're going to measure it this way. So what are you going to do for them? And what are they going to do for you? How many loans can you count on for your agent? And so I want to ask everybody a question right now in the community. If you could put it in questions, here's how I want to ask it. If you don't have a plan, just say, I don't have a plan, but I need one. If you think this is a bad idea and you're like, I don't have a plan and I don't need one, I'd like to know that. And then I would like to know, if you do have a plan, how many referral partners do you have this buy-in where they know what I'm going to do to help them? They know what I expect from the relationship, and there's a plan. Is it one relationship? Is it 2, 3, 4, 5? Right now, start riffing and sharing with us, where are you at? So far I'm hearing, I have a plan, but my partners don't know it. So I'm not going to call out your name.
But that's great honesty. That's great honesty.
Yeah, that's great honesty. No real plan. So no real plan is probably the worst answer, but by the way, it's the most honest, and that's why you're here, to get it. So I'm sure we'll get that plan. There is a plan. Oh, someone basically said, is there a plan you can share, Todd? By the way, everybody, the plan that Todd can share is the one that you created yourself. While I do scripts, and the best scripts are the scripts that you made yourself. Maybe you read someone else's and it influenced you, but it's the one you do yourself. By the way, we've got a big answer here. Someone has 14 realtors where they have a mutually agreed game plan. By the way, kudos to you and great job. No plan or commitment, 10 realtors, 3 attorneys, don't have a plan, 2 CPAs. Anyways, by the way, everybody who's engaging and talking and sharing, one, you're getting the most from this call because you're actively listening and you're taking notes, and you're giving the most back to everybody. So thank you for that. All right, Todd, keep it rocking. I think people are, by the way, if you just took that one single idea, like forget about what Todd's going to share for the rest of the call, forget about the 2 big ideas, but if you just did that one, I guarantee you would close more loans. And by the way, that might be enough for you to achieve your goals today. This year, just that one thing, getting aligned with your partners, making mutual commitments. Back to you, Todd.
Yeah, I want to just pause really for a moment and slowly say something to all of you. I firmly believe that most of you in the loan business have not gone deep enough with your partners to create that kind of strategic union. And I'd like you to be thinking about the idea of talking about a plan and building a manufacturing process around that plan where you have 10 referral partners. I don't care if they're real estate agents or builders or CPAs. I don't care. I think that we need to look at Stratmore, the top consulting group on productivity in the business. And we do know today that between 71 and 76% of a buyer's ultimate decision to use a lender is the realtor LO combo. So it's still very, very real. And if you had 10 real estate agent partners, let's just use that as part of the business model, and you do what I'm about to show you in the next 10 minutes, and the only commitment is out of that partnership, you're able to talk to 2 borrowers a week or 8 borrowers a month. You now have 80 borrower conversations in the can by having only 10 referral partners. So now the only thing you have to do is you have to master and consistently apply the disciplines of a high trust borrower presentation, which includes a lot of deep questions that you're probably not asking right now. And it's wrapped in a bow with the total cost analysis. If you spent your time getting great at the borrower consultation, and that was it, I mean, world class, and you had, let's just start at a 25% conversion rate to applications triggered into processing, 90% close, you're closing 180 deals a year. All you have to do now is continue to work with that same group, upgrade them if you need to, but now move that 25% to 45, 50, 60, 75%. Do you know that 3 or 4 years from now, you can make a decision today that I'm going to really get great at this interactivity of this high trust bond with my referral partners, and I'm going to convert 75% of the conversations I have in a rolling year to an application that funds. You are now funding 540 loans a year. So what I'm saying to you is the optics that I'm showing you are not just for entertainment purposes. They are the way for you to get a high ROI on the lifeblood that you're giving to the business. And to not do that is a extension, a default, adding years to your career that you don't need to add to your career. So I want to keep it really honest here. If you don't have a deep, connected, soulful, communicative relationship with the people you call partners, you don't have partners. It's that straightforward. I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So 56% have not formulated a sales and marketing plan. 79% do not have daily accountability to their plan, and 94% do not have a 3 to 5 year vision for their business. The most important thing here is not necessarily the business plan. We talked about that. The most important thing here is to marry accountability with a future state of where you want to be. And to not have a 3 to 5 year business plan, to not know in 2021 kind of where you'd like to be, says in 2018 that you don't have a correlation between what you do this year and what your future state looks like. So 94%, that's a monstrous number. It proves the point that most of us are in the business and we do it day by day, month by month. At the end of the month, we start over, we go another 30 days, we start over, and it's not integrated into a big part of the plan. In high trust coaching, Dave, you'll like this. We have 5 metrics that we measure, and you are held accountable daily to those metrics. This is why we're watching hourly rates in high trust coaching students go from $100 an hour to $800 an hour in a calendar year. Because every day there's 5 things we're measuring. We're measuring total conversations with borrowers. They're coming from 2 areas. We're measuring database conversations, and we're measuring referral conversations of potential buyers that have the desire and the capacity to finance real estate in the next 12 to 24 months. Then the 4th metric is what percentage of those conversations on a rolling month-on-month basis are triggered submissions to processing, right? And we have that number. And then the final number is what percentage of those fund and close. And those are the 5 metrics. And if you don't comply with those metrics, you get a ping at 5 p.m., give us your metrics. And if you don't put them in, you get another ping at 7. We want to keep the accountability going because we know it's a lot easier to have accountability today and set up success for tomorrow than it is to go a whole week or a whole month or 2 months and not have the accountability. So accountability needs to become a business owner's best friend, because if you're not accountable to the plan, there is an odds-on chance the plan's not going to work. Now watch how this all comes together. So you've got to tune up sales and marketing. Part of sales and marketing is the connected relationship. So it stands to reason then that you have to tune up your partnerships. And so this is a piggyback to what we were just discussing. 87% of LOs do not conduct partnership planning sessions at least monthly with their referral partners. So watch this. If I am not connected, I'm disconnected. If I am not communicating, there is discommunication. If I am not working with my referral partners on a regular basis, I'm leaving all those referrals on the table. 85% don't sit down at the end of a year and do a business review with their referral partners. 88%, this is huge, do not have a weekly acquisition strategy with their referral partners to generate buyer referrals. 88% have, they get a business plan perhaps, but there's no strategy to generate buyer referrals every single week. They come and they go, good days, good weeks, bad weeks, maybe good months, bad months. This is a serious, serious problem. So let me say to you, just by way of a solution, as we kind of roll through this, I think it's imperative that you get this piece of it, because if you get this piece, you get everything. If you miss this piece, none of what we talk about actually matters. So this is the percentage of LOs who do not currently ask what we refer to in the high trust scenario, the 6 weekly magic referral questions. So I'm just going to go through these. You guys can check it out, but 94% do not ask their agents weekly, who have you met in the last 7 days that you'd like to sell real estate to or for, and you're not sure they're going to use you. So in all of their lead gen, who are the people that they would like to sell a home for or sell a home to or both, but they don't have confidence that that lead is going to convert to a client? Okay, you get to pop in and start being the bridge builder to that relationship. 88% do not ask this question. Who do you plan on showing property to in the next 7 days that I've not had a conversation with that I need to, so that we can optimize their purchase power? This one is huge because watch this. 75% of buyers are either already approved somewhere else or they know a lender, and you're not getting those referrals. So if I ask this question, I'm able to have a conversation with anybody that's pre-approved, anyone that knows a lender, and obviously with the buyers that ultimately I'm going to have a conversation with anyway. So in this one question, this second question, I can actually 4x my extraction of leads in a conversation, because now I get to talk to people that are approved somewhere else, and I get to talk to people that know a lender, but they haven't applied yet. 85% do not ask, what are your open house plans for the next 2 to 4 weeks, so that I can help you create a success strategy for those open houses. It's still very relevant in the market. 49% of people are still finding the property they ultimately buy by going and looking at open houses, 1 out of 2. So what does that plan look like? 98% do not ask this question. What buyers have you closed in the last 30 to 60 days for whom we have not hosted a housewarming party? Okay, this is a strong lead gen program because people want to show off their new property. 92% do not ask, do you have any listings that are not moving as fast as you'd like, so that we can put a strategy together to move those listings. And then if you need to beef up your referral partners, ask the people that love you. What agents do you know that aren't having a great lender experience that I could contact on your referral? This is monstrous. These questions, just these questions right here, if all you did was hang up from today's call and say, I'm going to own these 6 questions and I'm going to start asking my agents every single week these questions, I'm telling you right now, it'll blow your mind. One of the guys I coach is a guy named Cody Hardridge. Check this email out. I asked, how many leads a week are you getting with question 2? Question 2 is, who do you plan on showing property to in the next 7 days who I should speak with to make sure we optimize their purchasing power, right? On average, I get 30 referrals per week, not leads, 30 referrals per week using the magic questions. You can do the math from there. I'm funding 43 purchases this month using this method. So it's one thing to have a plan, Dave. It's one thing to have the right partners, but it's an entirely different thing to serve those partners. And this is where the industry falls flat on its face. We call people strategic partners and there is no strategy. We call people referral partners and there is no strategy. I have people that are making 7 figures that in the last 2 weeks have asked me, hey, I got this agent and everything seems really cool. It was a great combo and I felt really good about it. It seemed that she felt really good about it. But we're not getting any juice out of it yet. There's not any traction yet. And I just texted back and I said, are you doing this, 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 and this? 4 things I said back. And this guy said, oh yeah, back to basics. And the basics, Dave, are if you want a partnership, you have to act like a partner. And if you don't act like a partner, there's going to be a lot of noise and a lot of interruption. And the default is if you don't have a partnership, you need more people to make your plan work. And so this piece of the pie is the nectar. This is the jet fuel. This is the stuff that makes relationships just blow up in terms of referability. And people need to, everybody in the mortgage coach community needs to tune this piece up. And then the TCA piece, I just want to tee off one more thing on the TCA piece. Any buyer that's approved somewhere else, any buyer that knows a lender, and you still want to have a conversation with them, all your agent has to say to those buyers is, I appreciate the fact that you're approved at ABC Bank. Let me ask you a question. Did the LO at that bank do a total cost analysis on the acquisition and financing of the real estate you want to buy to potentially show you how to save tens of thousands of dollars in unnecessary interest? Question mark. The buyer's going to say, what is a TCA? Well, here's what I'd like you to do. Whether you use him or not, have a 30-minute conversation with Todd Duncan at XYZ Lender. And at the end of the day, at the end of that conversation, you'll be able to see what it is. And then you decide from there. That's how you extract leads.
Love that script. And, the loan officers that have been doing that do recommend it. You call it the total cost analysis.
Yep.
The other high trending term is digital mortgage analysis. So you got to train your realtor on how to refer you. So you got to meet with your realtor, have a goal, and then make sure they're well trained on the best way to refer you. And that would be, a great script to refer you a buyer. Todd, I don't know how much you've seen this, but we're seeing a massive trend in our community around the digital open house. And so I love that, an open house was part of your 6 magic questions. And Nicole Solari, who's a top agent in Northern California, I don't know if you know this story. And by the way, Todd, I recommend her for Sales Mastery. Incredible story. She's only been a realtor for 4 years. I think she's closed a little over 200 transactions this year. She parachuted into Napa Valley, and her number 1 referral source are open houses. So, I mean, she has just crushed it with how she, does open houses. It pulls leads, home sales, and loans out of it. But I just want to throw it out there for everyone. One, make sure you're aware of the digital open house. I put a link to a LinkedIn article I did in chat. So if you're not familiar with how to get the most leads from an open house, partnering with an agent, doing a digital open house, check that out. But I just want to make sure everybody really connects with us on those 6 magical questions. And I did post in our Facebook group, what are Todd Duncan's 6 magical questions? Don't do it now, but after the call, let's make sure that we are all clear on what those questions are. But I also want to make sure that we didn't run past that big idea he shared a minute ago about win the day. And I do want to pose that question in chat right now, or in questions. How many people are clear on what winning the day means to you? And by the way, and you have it in a simple fashion. It's like 3 things. And at the end of every day, as a mortgage professional, you're like, I won the day. I don't know if I won the day. I didn't win the day. How many people are clear? So if you could just, say, I'm on it. I'm clear on that. If you're not, let us know. Also, I would love to know what are some of the criteria that you have with winning the day. And again, we're not going to go down the rabbit trail of that because we could do a whole call on, win the day metrics. But I would just love to know where everybody's at. And so, by the way, Todd, it's pretty much almost 50-50, that people not clear, on it, clear, I'm clear on that, I'm on it. I would say the majority of the people are pretty clear on that. Although we do have a number of folks where I would just tell you that is a massive takeaway. Be clear on your win the day metrics. Back to you, Todd, on some of the other key criteria.
Yeah. So win the day, if we just go back to the start of this call, I'm going to ask you to be totally transparent and honest with yourself. And, to whatever level you are being plagued by some of those inefficiencies like urgencies and reactivity and email, and you just said you are winning the day and you're clear on it, I want to make sure that you are optimizing your cash flow. That means 8 hours a day, you're actually sitting with borrowers and you are building consultative business practices around those borrowers. And at the end of the day, if you don't do that, you don't have that, then there are elements of winning the day that probably can be eliminated, delegated, or improved through an efficiency to help you make, win the day even bigger and better and healthier and wealthier and happier than it already is. So all of us want to win the day. We just got to keep pushing to, make sure that every day is a masterpiece. I think that's the goal, and not be real overwhelmed by trying to be perfect, but just make sure our progress is, going in the right direction. So let me kind of start to wrap up with the one that I think just resonates, Dave, with you and me and our history together and your early days as an LO and kind of where things are going today. But it has to do with tuning up your annual mortgage reviews. And you guys know that part of being a mortgage coach community practitioner is that you have to do this, right? You have to have a commitment to mortgage reviews. You have to have a discipline to every day. That day, you're talking to people who a year ago you did a mortgage review for or a year ago closed. Here's some stats that are going to blow your mind. So 77% of LOs do not call a borrower each year to conduct an annual client review. So that is a fairly revealing competitive advantage that you guys need to own as part of this community, because that's part of why you do a total cost analysis in the first place anyway, because you're looking at long-term goals, you're looking at financial priorities, you're looking at the things that this person wants to achieve through managing the mortgage proactively. But watch what begins to happen here. So if you are in the 23% that do an annual review, watch these elements. 88% don't have that review include a credit review. 87% do not have that review include a debt review. 85% do not have that review include an asset update. And 88%, this is huge, 88% do not have that review include a real estate review, dreams, goals, and next actions. And if I understand the power of having a tribe of satisfied buyers that I have built relationship with, they are the people that are going to buy a home in 3 years or sell a home in 6 years or buy a income producing property or whatever that I need to be able to match back to the agent that created that first family tree of referrals anyway. And I think it's exceptional to see some of the guys and gals, Dave, that we know we mutually have a chance to watch grow with this idea. I just got this about 4 weeks ago from Wally Elibieri, who's in December. He said, "Hey, Todd, I wanted to connect and share our progress over the last 4 weeks. I've started to do annual mortgage reviews. I've done 39 annual mortgage reviews in the last 4 weeks, 28 updated mortgage edges, is what he calls them, for clients with videos, coaching them on how to pay more principal, less interest, shave years off the terms, then welcoming them to setting up another call to implement the annual mortgage review plan. 11 apps and 5 lock loans, total $1.8 million or so for locked refinances or purchases that I most likely never would have had if it wasn't for the annual mortgage review campaign, your coaching and mentorship, blah, blah, blah." So here's a guy that gets $1.8 million in 4 weeks just from staying in touch with his clients, right? And so to me, this is a big deal. And the annual review has to be sequenced. It has to be something that is time blocked. It has to be part of your daily activity. And here's the biggest reason why this is so critical. This allows you to tune up your influence. So these are the final two stats, Dave, that I think, as we watch the industry shift, we've got to get into a mindset of B2C. We've got to really, really understand that as the dynamics of digital change and the dynamics of online change with applications and this and that and whatnot, we have to keep that database alive and well from an influence standpoint. So 83% of LOs have not segmented their database to the top influencers with the largest social circles in which they, the LO, can become implanted. 83%, 98% are not infiltrating their social ecosystem to add value, gain referrals, and then add value to their primary borrower influencer. And what's at stake here is for everybody that understands the absolute power of client for life thinking. The idea that if you want your clients for life, you have to talk to them during their life. You have to stay connected with them during their life. But this is about influence. And you heard one of our top elite students, Marty Preston, you heard him talk at Mastery about how they found one person who was able to get them a referral into a Hitachi plant in Kentucky. And as a result of that referral, they got into that plant and they started doing a series of seminars for the employees in that plant, which were 1,700 people. And they did credit review seminars, they did mortgage finance seminars, and they did debt management seminars, debt reduction seminars. They did 3 seminars. And in the first month, they got 71 bona fide pre-qualifications out of just a series of 3 of these mini seminars that they did. And now they've added another Hitachi plant. So they have 2 plants in Kentucky that have close to 3,000 employees. Can you imagine the power of then that Hitachi relationship coming back to Jim Moore, the original realtor that referred the person who knew the person? And you stop and think about that as an LO, and you stop and think about that as a advice-centric LO, and all of a sudden the world opens up to all of us. There are hundreds of thousands, at least tens of thousands for most, but hundreds of thousands of people employed in the city in which you live that need you to come in on the white horse and talk about a smarter way to acquire real estate and manage that debt. So these 2 stats, Dave, to me are really seriously important stats, because they ultimately take me back to 1994 at Sales Mastery when I said that he who owns the lead controls the destiny of the loan and all the affiliated services. So if you understand this last piece here, your database is king, and you have got to build the influencers. So segmented, what does that mean? Maybe it's 50 people that know 100. Maybe it's 100 people that know 50. Maybe it's 10 people that employ 1,000 each. You've got 10,000. It's up to you to decide that, but you've got to infiltrate the database to the level of who are the people that are sold on you, that can be your best advocate in the social world and in the employment world and in the client management world, so that you can continue to bring value back to the key industry that you call on, which is the agent builder industry. So those are the top areas that I think we need a tune-up in, Dave, and I'll turn it back over to you.
So this last one is so important. I just can't emphasize it enough. The heads of production and CEOs that trust me and trust Mortgage Coach rely on both Todd and I to do 2 things. One, to increase production immediately. And let's face it, it's Q1 of 2018, and every leader that's going to bring Todd out to speak, every loan officer that's going to go to one of Todd's training, we need immediate results. We need more loans in Q1, not spring home buying season. Hey, when spring home buying season's here, we need to kill it. But they also rely on Todd and I to make sure that we're providing you with leadership and strategies that create sustainable success. So that in 2020, our community of the people that Todd and I serve they're like a snowball rolling down the hill. It's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. That's my job. That's Todd's job. And And so a lot of reflection I did coming into the end of the year was try, because I saw people like, oh, it's, what should I do to close the most loans next month? Facebook marketing, prospect more, meet with realtors. And by the way, I don't think I saw one thing that was like a bad thing to do, but I was trying to really search for like, what is the one thing that will protect you from big data and corporate lenders in 2020? Like, what is the one thing if a professional referral-based local loan officer wanted to make sure they had a long career and they prospered and they grew, what's the one thing they could do? And then I also said, what's the one thing they should be doing right now in January of 2018? And I personally landed on annual reviews. And I'm not gonna, this is Todd's call, so I'm gonna cut it short. I actually did a rant, a LinkedIn article. In that article, I made my case, like what are the reasons why annual review should be your number one. And I also, that Wally Elderberry success story, I put videos in there. I put a number of success stories in there. So I just hope everybody clues into this one. And by the way, I think there's been 6 massive ideas that you've shared, Todd, that any one of them executed consistently over the course of a year will probably help you have the best year you ever had. But I would just say, if you're not doing annual reviews, and I don't care how busy you are, if you're that busy, then you should be able to hire an assistant to do it or build a team and a system around doing it. Not doing it is just, it's risking that being that snowball in 2020, and you're losing money right now. So again, check out my article. Todd, I just can't emphasize enough that anybody that comes to get trained by you, it's a gift that will give them a huge ROI. I want everybody on this call to sign up, and I want to see you at Mastermind or Sales Mastery. And I'm going to host another happy hour, and so I'm looking forward to having a cocktail or a glass of water, whatever your drink is, at Sales Mastery 2018. But what are some of the things that the mortgage coach community can, engage with you, like right now? What can they do in like this month and next month to actually improve their productivity this quarter and have a record-breaking year?
So the immediate thing is on your screen, and I would just go to hightrust.com/MC for mortgage coach and go hang there and download the 6 videos and the 6 PDF tools to help you build your business for 2018 and beyond. There's no strings attached, completely free. We want to give you the tools that help you become a high trust, advice centric LO, and everything we kind of danced on today is contained in the High Trust Business Builder. So that would be numero uno. You should all go there right now. If it's your first time to hightrust.com, you'll get a drop-down screen that asks you if you want to sign up for the Business Builder. Certainly go straight to the MC page, hightrust.com/MC, and just engage with us and let us help you make 2018 your best year ever. And then, anybody that's within an hour of Newport Beach, California, contact Don or Suzanne today. Our masterclass program, which is our freshest curriculum for high performers only in the business. This is a 2-day program that I run. We have a cocktail party on a Wednesday night, and then we go hard all day Thursday, all day Friday. I have a 180-page high performance sales manual called Masterclass for 1 day. We spend the whole day on high performance productivity. And then the second day, we spend the whole day on high performance sales and marketing. Every single gap that you have discovered today in our quick hour together or in a deeper diagnostic at with the Business Builder at hightrust.com will be solved in those 2 days. And take action today on that, Dave. And it's next week. So that if you can get here in an hour on a flight or drive in to Newport Beach, we're going to be at the Island Hotel in Fashion Island, Newport Beach, California. I will tell you this, that Marty Preston, who is one of our top elite members and one of our certified elite coaches, Marty said to me the first time we did this program, he said, the diagnostic in the first 2 hours of masterclass was worth $500,000 in commissions a year for the rest of his life minimum. So that's our commitment to you. If you want to come and learn how to make $1 million extra a year and follow the practices of the high performance, high trust advice-centric mortgage coach type originator, you need to be there and hang with me for 2 days. So those are the two takeaways, Dave.
Love it. Love it. So again, folks, I will share this again, but I highly recommend that you engage with Todd and his program. I've never talked to a loan officer that didn't get immense takeaways and actually improve their results. So I do want to really drive this annual review home, and I do want to launch a poll because I want to know, of the folks that are on this call right now, how many annual reviews have you done? If the answer is 0, by the way, this month so far, if it's 0, hopefully when I ask this question a week from now, and I am going to ask this question next Tuesday, and I'm asking this question every Friday for the rest of the month. So we're having a challenge right now, all about annual reviews. And by the way, if you want to be part of that challenge, in chat, I put a text group where all you got to do is text, AMR, and we will every day ask you, how many annual reviews did you create? Based on your answer, we'll either push you to do more, or we'll say, great job, can't wait to hear the success. So Todd, I don't know if you could see those results. I'm going to share them with everybody. So 70% of you are in the 0 category. So, kind of supports some of that stuff you had. 22% have done 1 to 3. So, hey, great job. You're taking action. You're getting better. We only got 1% of the folks that have done 10 or more. I guess I would just, at least, Todd, I'd love to hear your thought on how people should put goals around this. But my goals are, and there's a lot of ways of doing it. Figure out how big your database is. I think Rick Shear has a really good process where he emails his customers about 30%, auto schedule a 15-minute interview with him, and he's averaging about 30% of his customers, so he's doing about 30 a month. But, based on your database, have a number, and then make that part of your win the day and win the month. I don't know, Todd, what are your thoughts on how many annual reviews should people be doing daily, weekly, monthly? Any leadership, any formulas that you have around that?
Yeah, I mean, so here's the first discipline. The discipline is the minute you close a loan to have already had a conversation with a borrower that this is the start of a 20-year relationship, and you go into whatever CRM you're using and you're going to plug in ACR for annual client review or AMR for annual mortgage review, and you're going to recur that every 12 months, and you're going to have a start date of a year from now, and you're going to have an end date 20 years from that next date. And now it's alarmed, and now it's showing up every day. And the ultimate goal is if you close a couple hundred loans a year, you ought to have a couple hundred reviews next year. And if you close a couple hundred loans that year, you should have 400 reviews the next year. And you should be doing this to the point within about 36 months. You've got, somewhere between 700 and 1,000 reviews a year that you're doing. Your whole practice now is around client retention and client preparation for future state of mortgage management and home ownership. That's what it should be. And the faster you get to a point where you've got this database of loyalists that you're doing these reviews for, you protect yourself from 2 things, big data, and you protect yourself from the change in refi comp that I guarantee you is going to be happening in some serious ways. And so that database is huge for you, but make no mistake about it. Use the mortgage review, just drop annual and use the mortgage review as a lead gen tool. I mean, if I have a financial planner and he's got 300 clients and he can promote a mortgage review, not an annual, but a mortgage review, I can use that relationship with a financial planner. If my realtor has, 218 sellers, that have bought homes, what's the review? And I can actually use Mortgage Coach and the review as a lead gen tool. But at the end of the day, Dave, the biggest thing LOs need to understand is there's got to be a point where you shift gears from acquiring and always prospecting to retaining and serving and letting that ecosystem spin off referrals, because then you don't have to be in the acquisition mode. You're in the referral mode, which is what we know has the highest conversion rate possible.
So one minute question, Todd, because right now it's a purchase market. We need purchase leads. Any quick scripting you could give us during an annual review to pull the purchase business leads out of that conversation? Anything come to mind?
Yeah. So the last question in a conversation, if you're trying to drive a purchase lead gen scenario, is when do you plan on buying, selling, or listing your real estate assets? And is there going to be a moment in time in which you are going to purchase a home or sell a home to purchase a home? If I'm at the end of a buyer presentation and I've got a loan that's getting activated, I want to ask, did I answer all your questions today? Do you feel that how I laid out a plan for your mortgage is accurate and different than what you thought? How would you rate your experience here? And by the way, and then before they go, would you mind calling the agent when you leave the office to let them know you've had a great experience with me? And then here's a Facebook link, blah, 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 blah. I want people that love me to help me find the people that need to love me. That's as simple as it is. Point of sale. If I do a complete mortgage review and I do a high trust analysis and I do a total cost scenario and put that all together, I've got somebody right then and there that I can ask right before they leave my office who they know that might be interested in buying or selling. That's the reason. The reason we do this, the reason we do all of this is to blow the customer's mind.
Right. So folks, at your annual reviews, make sure you ask that question and then listen. And then regardless of whether they say something that creates a purchase lead, ask them any family members or friends that are thinking about buying, selling, or listing their home. Ask those two questions. Let us know the results. Hopefully you got an hour of value from today's call. Before you leave, let us know what you thought of today's call. Did we surpass your expectations with takeaways and values? If you were a guest and just learning about mortgage coach, you want a demo, click that last option. Todd, looks like we knocked it out of the park. It looks like you knocked it out of the park. And the survey results are phenomenal. Thank you everybody for trusting Mortgage Coach with your investment of time. Obviously, either you are spending money to be a member of Mortgage Coach or the company that you serve is investing in this relationship. But for those of you that are either watching this video or listening to this call, you're giving us your attention. You're giving us your time. Hopefully it was worth your while. If you are watching this in YouTube and you got value, the best way to let Todd and I know you got value is to like it and share it. Share it with your mortgage friends. If you're a branch manager, share it with your branch. I personally think this call has been so spot on and on point with the market that we're in that you should do a sales meeting around it. You should tell everybody, watch this interview with Dave and Todd, and then dedicate a meeting to make sure that they took notes, to make sure that if you're a branch manager, the loan officers that you serve, yes, you're a producing manager, so you probably need to lead by example, but you need to make sure that they're clear. I guarantee it, if you're a high volume, badass, top producing branch manager, you took good notes, they're actionable, you're going to get more out of this than your team. Make them watch it, and then make sure they took the kind of notes that you take. Make sure they get the kind of value out of something like this that you get. Todd Duncan, appreciate you, brother.
Right on, man. Appreciate you too. Take care, everybody.
Have a good day, everybody.
See ya.
Calls a wrap.
Yeah, bye.